In the middle of the last century, on a remote Pacific island called Papua New Guinea, something strange began to unfold. Among one of the island's native tribes, a mysterious and deadly disease began to spread. It struck mostly women and children, leaving scientists baffled for decades. At first, the symptoms seemed harmless. Victims appeared tired, their movements sluggish and slow. But soon their condition worsened. They began to lose balance, stumbling as if drunk. And in the final stages, their faces would twist into an eerie, constant smile, laughing uncontrollably until death. Because the island's people had little access to modern medicine, they could only pray for the curse to end. Yet the haunting laughter continued echoing through the jungle. Word of the disease, known as Kuru, spread across the world. But since it was both rare and strange, most doctors were terrified of being infected. No one dared to visit the island, no one, except one man. An American epidemiologist named Dr. Carleton Gajdusek risked his life to uncover the truth. He journeyed deep into the island's mountains and lived among the tribe for 2 weeks. He interviewed elders, studied their food, their customs, and every detail of their daily life. For 12 long days, nothing made sense. There were no strange plants, no infected animals, no trace of poison or curse. But on the 13th day, just as he was preparing to leave, the tribe's chief invited him to a memorial ceremony. It was an annual ritual to honor the dead. Out of respect, Gajdusek agreed to attend. At first, everything seemed normal. The villagers sang, danced, and celebrated under the fading light. But as the final part of the ritual began, Gajdusek witnessed something that froze him where he stood. The tribe was performing an ancient rite, sharing the bodies of their loved ones as a sacred act of remembrance. The strongest men of the tribe ate the flesh that symbolized power and strength, while women and children were given only the head, the least desirable part, which they ate in silence. They believed this act would allow them to inherit the wisdom of their elders and ensure the tribe's future. In that moment, Gajdusek understood. This was why Kuru struck women and children most. Could it be that the disease was spreading through this very ritual? After the ceremony, he carefully collected samples from the victims and the remains used in the ritual. Then he returned to the United States, determined to find the cause. For 3 days, he experimented tirelessly. Finally, in the brains of those who had died from Kuru, he discovered something astonishing, a strange protein unlike anything scientists had seen before. Unlike viruses or bacteria, this one had no DNA or genetic material. It was simply a misfolded protein. Yet when it entered the brain, it caused other normal proteins to fold in the same deadly way. These malformed proteins destroyed the brain from within, leading to the loss of movement, confusion, and uncontrollable laughter. Gajdusek named it a slow virus, but later scientists gave it another name, the prion. Although Gajdusek had discovered how Kuru spread, one mystery still remained. Why did such a bizarre disease appear only among this tribe? The answer didn't come until decades later. In 1986, halfway across the world, cattle in England began showing similar symptoms, staggering, twitching, and eventually collapsing with madness. Farmers discovered that cows had been fed a mixture containing the remains of other animals. The disease soon spread among herds, and millions of cattle were destroyed. The world called it mad cow disease. When scientists compared the two illnesses, they realized something shocking. Kuru and mad cow disease were the same type of infection, both caused by prions. The only difference was the host. Further genetic research revealed that humans carry a specific gene on chromosome 20, known as PRNP, which can mutate when exposed to prions. Some scientists believe that in ancient times, our ancestors developed a partial resistance to these proteins, but not a perfect one. Once a community practices such contact again, that gene can mutate, making humans vulnerable once more. And so, buried deep within human DNA, lies a silent warning, a genetic memory of a time when hunger, ritual, and tragedy collided. A reminder that sometimes the dead don't haunt the living with ghosts, but with something far more terrifying, something born within us.